playing this, I just thinking, oh yeah, now I will shout to the audience, please people raise up your hand and start dancing. Yeah, great.
Hi, Adriano. How are you?
Hi Victoria, I'm doing very well, and I'm so happy to be here. Fantastic! This Talking Harps project is wonderful, and I'm really happy to be part of this project. Great, great! It's such a nice job you're doing.
Thank
Great.
you. And I was so excited to get sent back to Italy again. I didn't think that I would have a double that soon in Italy, of all countries.
Yes.
And I have already learned a little bit about your journey, but a lot of our guests don't know how you get started. So tell us about your musical journey. And I know you started with something other than a harp. So tell us how it leads
Yes.
you all the way to the harp.
As you may see, I'm in the middle of some other instruments, some strange instruments actually that are also behind me, and also on some posters on the wall behind me. Because actually, I've been starting doing music since I was really young, since I was a child, because of my father. My family actually worked in music, has been working in the music world since before my birth, because my father is a instrument maker. Actually, he started making harps, Celtic harps, several years ago in 1973, if I remember well. And so when I was born, some years after, I was completely immersed into this music world, and when I was really young, I started going to some music academies, but just to study solfège and theory, and just starting with singing stuff, and when I was young, a dear friend of us, who was on. You have to imagine that when I was 3 year old, in the house of my father, so in the workshop of this harp maker, came across several musicians playing harp, like Derek Bell, like Nicanor Zabaleta, Alain Stivell. So several harp players came across here, and also Italian harp players. But actually, not only harp players, players in general, because when you have the opportunity to come across the workshop of an instrument maker, so, I don't know, in order to find some strings, some slice of rechange, something to you need for your job. Of course, you're coming across. So I was very young, and I started breathing the atmosphere around music and the music world. And actually, I started with medieval music when I was around 9, 10 year old, because a dear friend of us just needed to have a couple of members of his band, and so she chose me and my sister, my twin sister, to be a part of this early music ensemble. So we started playing psaltery, both psaltery, small harps, but normally we were there just to sing this ancient music. And actually it helped us a lot, because it gives us the sense of being in tune, the sense of working ensemble all together, to try to find the sound of the band. And with medieval music, it is very strict. So thanks to this birth of ourselves in the field of music, we started our career. Then in 2002, 2003, before that, in 1997, I started playing clarinet in the band of in the town band, the town popular band of my of my town, of my city, and then I went to the conservatoire to play and took the degree in clarinet in 2005. But in 2002, while I was studying clarinet, I decided, oh, why don't I start also playing the harp? You know, as a son of a harp maker, so having 1,000 harps all around here, I was really feeling boring about harp. No, harp, no anymore, not anymore, please. No way to play the harp. Then after several years playing clarinet, so a monodic instrument, I felt the sense of the feeling of why don't I choose an instrument that could combine the harmonies, so the accompaniment and melody. And so harp was still in front of my eyes. So I told myself, why don't I try this strange instrument? But I learned it as a self-taught because yes, my aim was just to amuse myself on this instrument. So I didn't want to go to a school or to an academy to find a way to find the right technique, to study the technique on the harp, and I found my own technique on the Celtic harp as a popular instrument. So maybe it is not really correct, but it deserves to me to reach the goal that I want to in the folk instruments. So as a folk instrument, then I start composing it on harp, and that was the explosion of my career as a harp player. So in 2012, 2013, I came across with I start being a soloist as a harp player, but together with my solo project, I went on with some band project together with my twin sister, her mates, her boyfriend with the guitar, and we start making trios and making different kind of music. So folk music with one band, early music. So we didn't abandon the medieval and Renaissance music also in this moment, and new experiment which sorted out especially in the very latest farther period. I mean 2018, 2019 until today.
I have so many questions for you.
Oh, great.
I want to learn about everything you're doing. But let's talk about your
Fantastic.
solo career. So I
Okay.
have recently watched a premiere of your harp and tap video. And I have to tell you, my son is hooked on Metropolis. He cannot stop talking about the Please after he listen to it. And
That was so cute.
it's such a beautiful feast to the eyes when you look at the visual element of the tap and then also the rhythmic sort of sound from the harp. Tell us about this piece of work, and also where the album that this music is from. Tell us about this, because that's your latest solo album, right?
Yes, exactly. Because actually, we are talking about Metropolis, which is a composition I made. I made in 2013 together with a tap dancer. So I asked to this tap dancer to record a couple of steps. You may know that tap dance is made by sequences of tapping rhythms that could be in different rhythms, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 4, or a swing rhythm. So under a jazz development of the music. It's I was in a period in which I was looking for something new, something original to experiment with the harp. So she recorded a couple of sequences, one on 6 out of 8, a swing one, and one in 4 out of 4, and I collect those sequences, and I made up this composition. So we started performing together, these compositions. So she were tapping, and I was playing Metropolis. It was really a great success until she stopped playing with me, performing with me, because she was under contract with her work. So it wasn't she wasn't able to combine all the stuff together. So I kept going by playing kept playing this tune all alone, which is nice anyway. But in my mind, I was I had this idea to perform together with the tap dancers. So in 2017, I told myself, why don't I try to play it and tap dancing all by myself? So
is
I
very
started
ambitious.
going. Yes, actually. But if you're looking for something original, you should go even beyond the borders of human knowledge and I don't know, whatever. So I started going to having lessons of tap dancing, and actually I can make some steps, some sequences, but I've never tried it to put together tap dance and opera. I mean, in a way, yes. If you know about some Quebecois step, if you can stay sitting down, you can tap on the floor while you're playing. I can do this, but it's just a small sequence of tap dancing. But standing up and playing while you are tapping is something. It's a challenge that I'm going to experiment in the following weeks. But actually, in 2019, my tap teacher decided, Ilaria Sus, decided to tell me, okay, why don't we try to redo it again, remade up Metropolis in duo, as a duet, and from that we started creating a new project, Harp and Tap. So just performing for an hour and a half, because it's 60 minutes, around 60 minutes, performing as a duet with harp, Celtic harp, and tap dance, with totally different compositions. So starting from the classical way to play harp, to the jazz, the swing, the ragtime, I don't know, so putting some electronic effects on the harp and on the steps of the tap dancer. So this is what is coming out is absolutely fantastic. Believe me.
It is very fantastic, and I really enjoy having the visual element along with the music. Like I've said it before, I think it just works so well together. And you have told me that that element is very important for you in a show. Tell us about it. Why is it that you want to make sure that your audience has something more than just the harp music and you on the stage?
Yeah. This is my motto. This is actually when I have to perform, and I just realized it in 2011 when I firstly performed alone, so as a soloist in front of a public, with a show of 2 hours. 2 hours as a solo performance. So it was okay. I was just feeling proud of myself until 5 minutes before the entrance of the audience. Then in that moment, I really remember that I was on the way to run away and say, okay, no, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. But actually, while I was projecting this show, couple of hours of show, I told myself, if I keep on playing the harp, so as a harp player, I'm forced to stay in the same place of the stage. So there is not so much spectacular around me. Okay, I can organize some projections, some lights, but actually I'm still there. I'm forced to stay in the same position for the whole concert. So I just imagine if I have to stay for a couple of hours in front of the same ambient, the same ambience, same setting of the concert, I would get boring really fastly. So I should change. I should hit the attention of the audience constantly during the same performance. What we used to call is not a concert, but is in Italian. In Italian, we used to say concerto as a concert and spettacolo, so spectacle, something spectacular, which derives from Latin spectacular, the spectrum, so which means from a show that should be seen, not listened but seen. So this is very important because we are not so used to listen to a performance that lasts 2 hours, especially if you keep on seeing and listening to one instrument in particular. So if you have an orchestra, you have thousands of timbre, you have thousands of colors, and also stimulus to see, because you can just give a look to the cellos, to the violins, to the wind part of the orchestra. So there are so many parts of the orchestra you can watch too. But as a soloist, you should organize the concert in a way that is not just a concert, but it is a whole performance. So sometimes you stop playing, you start talking, you start having fun by telling some funny stories about you, about whatever. And if you, for example, make some jokes while people don't expect that you are so funny, it is very nice. It is very nice. Sometimes it's very nice. And so then you can also organize your performance in order to put some electric effects, some different lights. Everything must be really set up because people, the audience, shouldn't get boring in your performance.
I love it.
This is
I
my
would
opinion.
love to see one of your live performance one day. That's going to be on my bucket list of items to
Fantastic,
do.
fantastic.
Now, tell us about your musical style. What can we expect from you when we listen to your music?
This is very nice because I've never thought about a style, a precise style of what I'm playing, because okay, well, first I started with by playing some Irish stuff. It is properly linked to the Celtic harp. So it was one of the first step ever. So the Brian Burroughs March, the Greensleeves, the Morrison Jigs, and something that everybody could probably know. But in 2014, I remember that I was playing a fast reel in front of an Irish fiddler, and she told me, "Yes, you are so fast. You can play really, really fast, but it doesn't deserve to anybody. So it's useless what you are doing." In that moment, I told myself, she's not so nice with me. But actually, after 2 days, I thought again of what she have said, and I thought to myself, oh yes, because if I play something for dancing, and it's too fast, and it's too, and people cannot dance it because it's too fast, because it has no accent, because it has anything that is wrong, but it is just a piece of virtuosism which you can see and say, oh wow, God, it's fast, it's unbelievable. Yeah, yes, but if I play the second tune with the same a second tune with the same virtuosism, you may say, oh yes, great, he is really fast, and yeah, okay. The third tune really fast, and you say, okay, tell me anything else, please tell me anything else, because music, it's another thing. So, and then I experimented another way to play music, just getting to the groove. Okay, so starting conceiving the rhythm as a must that should be there all the time. I mean, don't think of okay, all my tunes should be on a strong rhythm, under a strong rhythm, because this is one side of my style. Okay, so just provide a really strong rhythm in order to invite people to dance if they want, or just to twist their body because they feel the rhythm, the groove that is around what I'm playing. On the other side, I gave privilege, I gave the importance to the singable way of the melody. So if you are able to sing what you're listening, this is nice because after the concert you keep going singing something that is actually instrumental. So it's not a song, but it's instrumental. So if I play anything, and after that, really, I don't know, for example. And so on. So there is rhythm, there is a groove, because the groove is something that you cannot define very well, but it's the way to give importance, accent to some notes instead of the others, but the others are important as well because they mix the dynamic which is behind the tune, and they gives you the sense of this is not just a couple of notes, this is a melody, this is music, this is something that if you want you can develop in your mind, and you can start singing it maybe the second time you listen to it, or even the first time.
That's a really interesting perspective to approach how you describe your music. I really enjoyed that whole sort of, like you said, groove is very difficult to define, but I think you know it when you feel it. I think when you hear a groovy piece of music, you will want to move with it and you will want to hum along with it. And it, like you said, it doesn't even have to have lyrics. It just can be a melody that you
Exactly.
hum along.
For example, if you think of Superstition of Stevie Wonder, it starts with just the synth bass, and which is done by some ghost notes. You just perceive the tick, 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 not the notes, just but inside this sentence, which lasted for the whole piece, so it's not doing something really unbelievable. It's just one sentence, okay, that lasts 4 bars, if I remember well, and for the whole tunes, just that one. And when you feel this synth bass that is going on, you feel exactly that the music is going. The music is going on, and you cannot say why. It's just something that the music is just a means of transport of the soul of the person who played it to the soul, to the inner soul of the one who is listening. So it's just a sort of means of the waves that is going from a body to the other one.
What a great way to connect.
Yes, it is. This is the music therapy, actually.
That's
The
awesome.
same principle.
Okay, I'm going to switch gear a little bit and talk about your harp. Because having the ability to work with a harp maker, aka your daddy, I imagine you are able to build some harps that are sort of more purposeful for your needs. Would that be true? Or do you just take whatever he builds you and go, I'm just going to work with it?
I've started making some instrument with him, but there is no way to me for me to build something that is that has a sense. But also because my father is using some tools that are really dangerous for the fingers. So if you're not really aware of just cutting the woods under this blade, and if you're not really aware, but also you know, if you just hurt a little bit the finger, that means that you cannot play maybe for a week, maybe for 2 weeks, but you cannot play. So you must be really aware of it. That's why probably my father. I mean, I would love to think that this is the reason why my father told me, no, please, don't do it. And it is not because he told me, no, you're not really a good skill person in build instruments. But, you know, we'll see.
He can build the instrument and you can play it.
That's it. That's it. I can test if they are good or not, and we can. I mean, what is really nice is that he is not just a harp maker. He is an instrument maker. So sometimes, for example, he give a look to some iconographic instrument which has an unbelievable shape, which has no reason to be there, which has no compared thing to another instrument, and he started building it as a common instrument, So that's why I start deepening the knowledge about harps, and ask him several times to change, for example, some direction in putting the harps, put some levers, those levers instead of the other one, just put different matters of strings. I have some wire strung harp, I have some carbon harp, some strings made by sugar, a particular string thing, and whatever, different levels, because we are just testing how can be better, and from one side, it's lucky that my father is not a musician. He is just a harp maker, instrument maker. He can play also the bow psaltery and can put his fingers on the harp just playing some strings. But it's nice because I mean there is the legend, if an instrument maker can play his own instruments, probably he will never finish his first creature, because he's going on looking for something better, something new, something that is more comfortable than the previous.
And I have come across a video in your YouTube channel playing a double strung harp that your father had built. How was that for you compared to playing a single strung?
This is a very nice challenge. I mean, I've not hit here because I would love to give you the example, but this is not here because it's in another house in this moment, and I cannot recuperate it for the moment. But you have to imagine that you have actually 36 strings, but they are put in two different rows that are parallel. You play the trebles with your right hand in your right side of the same instrument, and the bass with the left hand as a normal harp. But this was a challenge. Starting from the building, it was a challenge because I asked my father, okay, we have to travel with the planes, so it's really uncomfortable to travel with a big harp. Why don't we study? Why don't we look for a solution to reproduce a 36 harp, of course electric harp, that can fit into hand luggage? with the dimension of the hand luggage. So we took the dimension of the hand luggage and we made this different shape, which I don't know the English word of a trapezio. It's a trapezoidal shape, which has two rows of strings. Actually, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable because we started thinking of it as a pop harp, because it's electric harp. Of course, it has no sound box. It can be just plugged by the electricity, and with digital effects. But it sounds like a harp actually. But you cannot play it like a harp, because you have to imagine that your eyes are going across. You cannot see what you're playing with both hands. Like a triple harp, like a double harp, you cannot see exactly what you're playing. Just avoid to see and play just as a feeling, but it's a nice challenge. I mean, we wanted the challenge because we managed to embark this harp as a hand luggage. So the first challenge we made it.
I love it that you can custom make something that you can bring with you to shows, and you
Yes.
get to be a part of the design process to make sure it is going to fit for sure. That's
Yes,
awesome. Now, tell us about playing on the electric harp. I actually have recently acquired a secondhand electroacoustic harp, so I'm going to start
Great.
getting into that realm of things. What kind of things do you do with electric harp, and how did you get started? Maybe you can give me some tips on how can I get started.
Oh yeah, of course. But for example, what you see is my electroacoustic harp, because it is an acoustic instrument, but I put some piezo at the edge of each string, like an electric harp. So if I have to play on such big stage in the open air outdoors, I just plug the three outputs of this harp, bass, medium, and trebles. As an electric harp, and people can have the same sound. So the one advantage of the main advantage of the electric harp is that if you have your own sound, you just you just look for your own sound. So you just travel with your harp, with your mixer, your own mixer that mix the sound in the way that you like, because we have the biggest problem in the world, that normally what is coming outside is different from what we think that is going on. So it's always it's always a mess. But with electric harp, you can just look for your sound, and it goes exactly outside, in the speakers outside. But I have a conception about electric harp, because I really love the acoustic harp, and they should be two different harps. Because if you play the electric harp as a normal acoustic harp, then why don't you play the acoustic one? Mm-hmm. Because electric harp is not really the best harp ever. If you have the amplifier, you cannot work with it. You cannot hear by using the amplifier, try to put also some effects. Try to put something. I mean, I don't want to give you the tips about putting the distortion and try to do with the electric
That's
harp.
for later.
Exactly. Yeah, that's for later. But it's also an experiment you should do. You should do. But it's even more interesting to work on something that is not try to reproduce what is normally done by the electric guitar. I know that the effects are taken from the guitar world. Because of course the guitar world is wider than the electric harp world, but I really suggest you to go into the field of the electronic and try to see if your electric harp can provide some sounds that is different from the acoustic harp. Because otherwise, play the acoustic harp. Uh, which means not really the distortion, but also some particular reverb, some particular echo or delay, which is not going against the natural sound of the harp. But for example, I have also experimented some chorus, some flanger, something that take this the normal sound of the harp and gives the sense of electronic sound. Or for example, I have this experimented this fantastic effect soundbox in which if I play a chord and I put the pedal on, it take the sound and keep it longer like a org.
Kind of like a sustain, isn't it?
Yes, like a sustain, But and while you keep the foot on this pedal, so that you keep it active, you can play whatever you want, and it stays on that chord. The name of this pedal is freeze, so which means it keep and freeze one harmony or one note or whatever you're playing. This is for me. This is something nicer, or maybe just working with the loop station or with our other effects. Also, the strangest one. Also, the distortion, if you like, the cry baby, the wah wah, the whatever you like. It's really that. I mean, I think this is the way to work with the electric harp.
I agree with you because I started with an acoustic harp, and originally I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll just put a pickup in there and I'll play with it once in a while. And then I think slowly I've come to realize that the electroacoustic harp is a very different beast compared to acoustic harp, and what you do on both are very different. And I see them as two separate tools or instrument.
Perfect.
So I'm looking
Perfect.
forward to experimenting with the electroacoustic harp, and I might have to get some tips from you going forward. I'm waiting for, actually, it's on the way to my house right now, somewhere out on the road. So I'm looking forward to meeting it. And I was just browsing the user menu with my husband. It's a used harp, so I got a PDF copy of the menu. It looks more like a menu for an electronic appliance rather than
Yes.
a harp. So it's
I
very
know.
interesting. I'm looking forward to trying it. Now, do you use a lot of effects in your albums to add the
In
sound?
the albums, yeah, in the albums, no, actually not, because I mean, yes, some reverbs, some delays, especially in the latest album. There are the name of the album is Sinantis, the same album where you can find Metropolis. For example, in this album, I recorded some two stuffs to composition of mine. One is Thule, and sometimes in the recording I put some really massive reverb because it is an ambient tune which describes this land full of fire and ice. So when I explore the part of the ice, you have this sound that is really, really far away and wider. I mean, it's just a suggestion. It's just something, a feeling that you gives. Or in another tune, Four Elements, which derives from the four elements. I compose four musical themes. Each of them is refers to one of the four elements. So while I'm doing, for example, the water, the theme of the water, I put the delay on it. So I'm just playing something like a chord, and the delay is doing. course, you can play it physically, but it's nice if you have something that it is nicer. I
I
think.
think so too.
And but normally in the album I don't use so much effect if they are not really inside the music. So for example, if I will compose something with distortion, of course I will put the distortion if I have to record it in an album. But when you record an album, I normally record it through a microphone, through a physical microphone, so not through the outputs of the electric stuff. That's why I prefer to record the physical instrument, what the instrument is providing, so the natural sound. But who knows? In the future, whatever it's possible.
For sure. Now, you also have sheet music for your albums. What are some of the popular tunes that learners like to learn from you? Can you give us some suggestions?
Because the three tune books I've released last year, and the quarantine time was perfect for me because I wasn't convinced. I was never convinced to publish any tune books. Probably because I'm too lazy about writing music. Okay,
It's a lot
but
of work.
I was convinced. It's a lot of work. I was convinced to publish these three tune books. And they refers to my three albums, and they are really quite different because they came into three different periods of my activity as a soloist. So the first album it is a composition with it is made by some virtuosistic compositions. They are more or less more virtuosistic than the others, and the name is Arpa Creativa, creative harp. So it was the first experiment of making whatever with the harp. The second album is Arpa Cadabra, like a spell, like an enchantment. And it was the album that I made on the rhythm of popular dances. So this album, for example, it was the first album in which I concentrate myself on staying on the rhythm of some popular dances like mazurka, waltz, cercle circassien, some popular dances taken most of the time from the French tradition, but also tarantella, also some Italian stuff, some German and English stuff. But they are particular because they are deepening the knowledge about the rhythm. So, for example, if I would love to give you an example. The rhythm of bourrée three times, which is 1 2 3 1 2, like a waltz, but it has a really strong rhythm and strong accent. Pop, 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 pop. It has a really strong rhythm that should be shown to the dancer, because if you play it without rhythm, it's a waltz. And the groove, which is exactly the one thing that makes the difference from the two kind of waltz. It gives you that you are playing the waltz or you're playing the bourrée three times. So what I wrote in the album Arpacadabra is exactly that. So tunes that I compose on the base of the rhythm of some specific dances, taken from the European tradition. That's so called that. The third album, Sinantis, it was a different album again because it combines all the stuff, some virtuosistic stuff, some Irish stuff, popular stuff, and something that is going on the direction of the what I told you before, the singability.
With a melody that you can kind
Yeah.
of hum along.
Yes, exactly. So the raising up of the melody, and some tunes that is going to the direction of the ambient music. So something really wild that can describe a kind of ambient, kind of feeling, kind of. Different, something that is far away from the rhythm, the strong rhythm of the dance.
So very different music. So what you're saying is we should learn all of them.
Oh, of course, of course.
I've started on
I'm the
Metropolis.
perfect businessman.
Exactly. I started on Metropolis and I'm doing it very slow, but I'm surprised that my son can pick up on the fact that that's that piece of music. Like he's completely
Fantastic.
sold.
That means that you're doing very well.
He wants to learn it and he keep asking me, how can I play fast? I'm like, you might want to just play slow for now and then speed up later.
Great.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how like he moves with your music, right? There is that rhythm to it that he just wants to go along with it, and I think that's what you meant when you say there's a groove to the music. You can sort of feel it in your
I think
body.
that what is natural. I mean, several times I'm asked to teach something about the groove or about my music, and so many times I can see that people can play very well my music, even better than what I normally do. Okay, but what is lack is exactly the way that if you play this music, it's nice to read the if you can read the notes, the scores. I mean, the music is still there, and the music is done. I mean, no, the tune is done, not the music. The music is done by if you play it and amuse yourself in playing it. Me as an audience, as an auditor, I perceive that you are amusing yourself in playing it. I'm just I can just perceive the waves that you are getting to me, and especially Metropolis with this accompaniment. In the second part, or even the first part, which is the blues. Oh. This is not. This cannot be done. This is nice because I'm playing the same notes, but it is lack of something.
Yeah,
lack of
it's too
something.
metronome. It's too
Yeah,
too
it is just
methodical.
static.
Yeah.
Static. So what I tell normally to the students is okay, just feel that you don't want to be perfect, because you don't need to be perfect. Please do several mistakes like I do, but give me the sense that you are enjoying the music. This is much more important than playing my music very well or very bad. And the second part. This movement with the left hand, it is nothing that is unbelievable. But for example, you can perceive from what I'm playing that when I'm beating the strings, I really feel the sense of, oh God, shbam, great, and release all my tension. Chuck, 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 and then. And then and so on. While I'm playing this, I just thinking, oh yeah, now I will shout to the audience. Please, people, raise up your hand and start dancing. Yeah, great. But you can feel that people start moving if you are the first that moves.
You have to be the leader.
Yes.
Get it going.
Yes. If you don't move, if you stay there, you give the sense of this rigidity, and you just block the waves that of the music that can be launched to the audience. I mean, this is what I normally think, and this is what I perceive from a concert. If I go to a concert, sometimes I cannot move my body. I mean, I don't want to feel a concert, of course, of just rhythmic music, but I want to be involved in the concert, involved in the music, not just saying the perfect music ever, because I don't need it. I don't want to be. If I want the perfect music, I can just hear a CD or an album, because they normally are done in the studio with all the cuts and copies and whatever, which makes everything perfect. But if I want to be involved, if I want to live my evening, my concert, as likewise I'm in a parallel world with a different reality outside of my common life. I want to feel different feelings than what I normally feel. I thought 3 times feel, but okay. It's this is the place where I should go. But I need that the musicians are giving me this sense, not just the melodies, the notes, but the entire music, the entire world of music.
I love it. And Anna, who sent me to you, she's organizing a festival, and then she told me you might be coming. So if I
Of
ever
course,
get to
I
meet you,
will.
you're gonna have to play for me, and I'm gonna dance nonstop.
Of course. And don't tell me twice. Don't tell me twice.
I'm so looking forward to it.
We will meet up in New Zealand, in Auckland.
Yes, it's a date.
And we will transform the Auckland itself into a different world.
It will be fantastic.
Fantastic for us. I don't know what Anna will think of it, but we will see.
I feel like it's one of those things where she just have to experience it. Don't even anticipate what's going to happen. Just show up,
Fantastic.
be there, and you will know what you got yourself into once you're out. On the other side.
Fantastic.
It
I
will be
can't wait.
fabulous.
I can't wait.
Yes. So how do we stay in touch with your work?
Okay, normally I have a website which is www.adrianosangineto.com,
I'll put that
and
in the description.
or you can find me. You can look for my pages, official pages on Facebook, and can you hear this?
I can.
It's my parrot, which is in the shadows because
What
it's
kind of
normally
parrot do you
sing.
have? I have a parrot
It's
too.
it's a bigger one. It's a big and green.
Oh, I didn't go for a big one because I don't know if I can handle the talking. I end up with a little one, but it's still kind of talkative sometimes.
Yes, no, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Okay, he ruins all my recordings that normally I do in the house. And in actually in the second album in Arpa Cadabra, I left one thing of his voice, of her voice, into a track. But it's really hidden from the sound of harp.
We're gonna
But you
have to
can
look
see.
for that.
Yes.
Okay, so you have a website and you have a page
Yes.
on Facebook.
On Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and yeah, I have also a profile on YouTube, my YouTube channel, and I really suggest you to go and check all these, especially the YouTube channels, because in the last year and a half, I've put there all the research, all the new projects that I'm going through in this period, especially the videos, the video clips of Harp and Tap.
Yes, I'm gonna include those link in the video description. And I agree, the YouTube channel is probably the way to do because there's some really spectacular videos in there for Harp and
Thank you
Tap.
very
So I
much.
recommend the audience to check it out. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
very much,
spending the
Victoria.
time to chat with me. I'm sure we're
It was a
gonna
pleasure.
continue talking in the next little while. So
Of course,
yes.
of course.
And
Thank-
we'll have a lot of fun in Oakland in 2023.
Ah, yes, for sure. It's a promise. It's a promise.
is. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. It was really, really nice to be part of this Talking Harp. Thank you for this project on behalf of the harpist world, and really go on doing this. And I would suggest you some other harpists that you should be in touch with.
Will do. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I've said this before and I will say it again. I think the most amazing part about this project is I'm discovering that there are so many different works that people are doing with the harp. It's the same instrument, but the outcome is so different. And every time I listen to something new, I was amazed by how every artist has interpreted the same instrument differently. All of them are valid and all of them are awesome. And I was like, why is no one spreading the word? So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm going to spread the word. So
Fantastic.
Awesome.
And thanks for your job. Thanks for
thank
your
you
job.
very much. We'll talk again soon.
Great.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Victoria.
Bye.
Bye to everybody.